Morning. I was 10 years old in the spring of 1965. And one day my mother told me she wanted me to go with her to the University of Rhode Island to hear a speech by Dr. Martin Luther King. I knew who Dr. King was from the news and from my parents, who were progressive thinkers. My father was a member of the Urban League in Rhode Island, where I grew up, and he was the director of admissions at St. George's School when they first admitted a student of color. They were active in their support of racial equality. I didn't know it then, but my world and how I thought about it was about to change. I was excited because I knew this was a big deal. It would be just me going with my mother, and none of my siblings were asked. I was also a bit anxious. The world was very different then, and Dr. King and racial issues were in the news all the time, and it seemed threatening to me occasionally as a 10-year-old. I went to school with a few minority children, and my parents had African-American friends, but most of my world was white. And I was nervous that I might be singled out because of that, and I thought there was the potential for violence. When the day came, my mother and I got on a city bus, which wasn't very clean and not at all like the buses I was used to. What seemed like I was used to riding with what seemed like 100 other people. Most of the other riders were African Americans, and I was in a whole new world. I had never been in an environment like this. I was the minority, and I didn't know any of the people around me. Fortunately, my mother did, which amazed me because I hadn't realized that she and my father had a world that I was not really very familiar with, and this was her way of introducing me into it. Everyone was very nice, and I felt quite welcomed. It seemed like a long ride. At 10 years old, an hour seems like a long ride. And when we arrived at URI, I was in for another realization. There were thousands of people there. Mostly, but not exclusively black, and there was tremendous energy. You could feel it everywhere. And there was an undercurrent of anger and unpredictability, but mostly the feeling was of excitement and hope. I don't remember a lot of what Dr. King said that day, but I've always remembered that day. Sitting in the balcony of the old URI basketball arena, I remember his powerful voice, soaring, his energy, his passion and strength. I remember being comforted by his message of change, but was not focused on being angry at white people and violent, but at a system of injustice that was unfair to the poor, undereducated, regardless of race. This was an amazing day for me and helped shape my views and attitudes about issues of poverty, education, and race. The world has changed a lot since 1965, but these issues are still part of our national conversation. I hope you will become interested and educated about these issues. It is part of the history in our country, and it will be a part of your world and future. Look for opportunities to be engaged. Have experiences that will bring you outside of your comfort zone and find ways to be of service to others. We are always stronger together than when divided. And as I am sure you have heard many times before, a rising tide lifts all boats. Please be a part of that rising tide. Thank you for listening.